Gonna get this party started. So today, and I'll tell you when to like switch back and forth. If you just want to make this your full screen, the Zoom your full screen, or if you want to take some notes, feel free to. But we are gonna get into content batching. Now you guys can all see, I'm a little ill this week, so you guys can see this screen because I got halfway through a coaching call with somebody else and I was sharing the wrong screen. You guys can see marketing and content batching, right? Just give me a thumbs up. Okay, great. Thanks. I was like, been slightly off my game, but my coaching has been like on fire this week. So I'm very excited. But this is one of the things that I have found takes so much freaking time for so many people is the marketing piece. It's like this is what took me like literally I'd spend all my days marketing and I never want this to be the case for any entrepreneur, especially you guys. So we're going to talk about how to create protocols around content planning. And I like to think about creating content a month in advance. Now, in the like FAQ call, Missy was talking about like what is one of the biggest challenges that people have. And I would say that this pillar in this module in specific, this is a challenge for people, is you don't have a content calendar yet. You don't have like any of these ideas necessarily planned out. So I want you to just be patient with yourself this week because in this month, because this is your first month actually trying to batch. And the first time is always the hardest. And then you're going to start just gleaning ideas as you're driving. And we'll talk about where to put those ideas. But all those things are going to start to come a little bit more easily. And I want you guys to feel that as you plan. So just have patience with yourself. It is the first time you ever do it, but it will get easier as you go. So we're going to talk about how to plan your content a month in advance. Then we're going to talk about how to do batching of your copy every week. And I said creating, I need to go back and change this, but it's like you're not going to be creating copy on next week's call, but you are going to learn how to content batch with the next slideshow that is coming. Then daily, I'm going to show you how to upload your posts every day. So you create this like automatic routine around posting that doesn't feel like something that's like, oh, okay, wait, I need to make sure I put this and this. Like it's just going to feel really easy. And then finally, we're going to talk about how to create a diverse feed that hits different points of your audience. So this is what we're going to cover today. Now, when I was thinking about planning, I like to have a different protocol every month, every week, and every day, or that I'm actually posting so that it feels like, again, a routine. It's something easier. My brain doesn't have to redecide how to do something. And so for me, I was like, when I was thinking about the minimum baseline, that is like the least amount I would post to reach my goals. And so it's like, if we're thinking about you guys, we want to have a minimum amount that you're posting every single week to make sure that you are actually like getting your goals met throughout this year. Now, we'll talk about chat in just a second. So, because that's a great resource as well. So, what I realized is that in order to get the minimum amount of people to purchase, there were 3 different types of people I needed to talk to within my audience. I would have my cold leads that don't know me at all, that would just randomly, my picture would pop up on their feed, whether they were scrolling through the reels or just like randomly, you can pop up on people's feed. So people who don't know me at all, they needed to get to know me within here. Then there were people who had been in my audience, people who are currently following, people who are subscribing to me, people who were in my realm. I wanted to nurture them and show them, hey, I'm like a really great person for you to work with. This is how you can like really get to like the things that I talk about and what I do. Then the next thing would be the hot posts. These are the things that people need to be compelled into taking action. And this is where we want to be like building that like instant trust, ready to buy. And then, of course, your purchasing, which we're going to talk about consultations next week. Now, for you, the reason why last week we talked about creating an offer and creating your pillars is we're going to use those pillars to make your marketing plan. So there is if you guys haven't heard of SEO, it's search engine optimization. There's studies going out that this is like the perfect time for you guys to learn this, that even more than Google, people are going to start using social media as a search engine. So we want to be optimizing your pages for both. And when you talk about the same topic every single week, what happens is you start to create organic, that means not paid, like you're not paying to like show up on someone's feed. But if you start to talk about the same topics every week, you're going to start to bring people who want what you have to offer. So for instance, when I had the Career Fulfillment Initiative, I would talk about burnout, time management, confidence, work-life balance, and 10-year plans. I found that these random people were finding me because I talked about burnout so much, time management. I just kind of built up this expertise in the industry that made me stand out. So it was like, when we're talking about, yes, they start feeding the audience to you. If someone looks up, how do I manage stress? They might be going to Google, and they might be going to Instagram now. That's what their people are seeing, is like to look for coaches and things like, and everyone in this round is a coach. That's why I'm bringing up coaching, but that's something that we want to do. Now, to what Missy was like talking about, if anyone saw that in the stream, it's like, it doesn't need to be perfect right away when we're thinking about creating your pillars. We just want to create like this, like, hey, I'm an expert in your messaging, giving a little bit of clarity, and it's going to get clearer as time goes on. Your pillars might change, your topics might change, but it's something that you want to build that ability to produce content specifically around certain topics each week. Now, you see here that I have cold, warm, and hot. The days of the week don't matter. Like, you might not do the cold post on Monday. You might do it on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, whenever you want to do it. But I actually did each of these when I was not having a social media manager. I would just do this for myself each day. So I would be like, on Monday, I would do my cold. On Wednesday, I would do my warm. Friday, I would do my hot. You don't need to do it this way, but that is an option for you. So when I was creating my content, what I realized, and I was going to show you my social media, I'll show you that in a second. It's a bit wonky because I just finished a launch, so you can't really see a consistent one. But I put so much effort into writing all these posts and making these reels, and I was working very hard to like make it something different. You don't have to make it different. What I do is it's like I write one post, and then I do a reel and a static post about the same topic. Does that make sense? So it's like, I would have a static post about burnout, like why I struggled with burnout, and I would do a reel of me talking about burnout. So I would use the exact same content for both. So just, again, working smarter, not harder. I hope that makes sense. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense to you guys, like that. Yeah, just repurposing the content, using it different places. So I would think of a different topic about each of these things, and that's what I would put here. Yes, Teresia.
Yeah, so can you just go back to the thing you said about repurposing content? So say you do a reel, and would your static post simply be some quote from that reel? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. And
Okay.
what I do for the content is and we'll get into like how that looks, but I would write down the whole thing that I said in the reel, like a really long, or if you're writing a script as you do the reels, depending on how you do it, you would have the whole big long content copied. The caption for the static post, I typically make longer than the caption for the reel. So what I do is I'll just have a long caption saying pretty much everything I said in the reel as the whole caption for the static post. And then I would choose 3 sentences from that longer caption for the caption for the reel. So it's like literally like the exact same caption, copy paste 3 sentences over. Do you want me to show you what that looks like? Let me show you what that looks like. So for instance, a great version of this is yesterday or this weekend, I posted Tammy's reel. So Tammy, and you guys can feel free to, you do not have to do it, but I know that a couple of you guys have sent me your videos. So within my posting, I have a document for my hot leads where I share testimonials. So I had Tammy's video here and I transcribed Tammy's video, and this is what Tammy said here. So this is her whole video. And then I chose a quote from her. I have a desire to help as many people as possible, which means I also get to invest in my skill set to grow to the next level. That was a quote that she said. And I have the whole thing here, like ready to help more people and simplify your business. Book a one-on-one call. Here's why Tammy decided to join. If you missed a mastermind, no worries. Like I said, you can always work with me one-on-one, so feel free. So I have this as the whole thing, the whole caption for my static post. Then I took 3 sentences and I said, 6 figures is a program for you to help more people and make more money in less time. I didn't actually have that, but it's like ready to help people and simplify your business. I could have taken that, copy pasted it. And then for the reel, I said, listen to Tammy's story and see why she decided to join. And then I guess my social media person decided to cut out the last part, book a one-on-one consult to help you see. But that's what I would have had. Those 3 sentences would be here. I didn't even realize that. That's funny. And then I have separate hashtags for each. Any questions about that? That was a great question.
Question. How do you come up with your hashtags?
ChatGPT.
So like, what
I
specific
have
type of prompt?
excellent question. So there's a website called ChatGPT, if you guys haven't heard of it, and it is a free resource, and I can send you guys a link to it. But what I'll do is I'll just copy and paste and say, here's the post. Can you generate trending hashtags? And I'll just put the captions here. However, when we're thinking about hashtags, I want people searching 6-figure systems, just like I want people searching your program. So I recently realized that we weren't including hashtag 6-figure systems until like 2 weeks ago. I wasn't including hashtag 6-figure systems, hashtag 6-figure systems mastermind. So it's like, I wanted to make sure I started to include that hashtag here. And now you can see all of the posts that I've done. Okay. Great questions. Yes. And you can do a carousel. A carousel just means multiple pictures in your feed if you want to have multiple carousel pictures. I found that took a lot of time for me, and it wasn't necessary. Like, and you'll see, I even have it, I think, as like a piece of the, no, I think I took it out, but I was like, I even had that previously where I was like, carousels are great. And you can play around with doing a carousel post, which means multiple pictures in one post, or you can just leave it either way. But here's what I decided to do for my monthly. I was like, monthly, if I knew I wanted to create a video for each one of these things, the first thing I would do is I would take all of these ideas I had. And that's, again, why I said this is the hardest thing to do when you first start out. You don't have a list of ideas. But what I would do is I would take this for this first month, and I want you to think about ideas related to each topic. So for me, if I were to do a topic about planning, if my weekly topic was about planning, for my cold post, I would think about a story from my personal life, me, Megan Wing, about why planning is something that's really important for me to teach in six-figure systems. And I would say for this one, I would be like, for the first 2 years of my business, I felt like I was throwing spaghetti at a wall and I felt completely helpless. It's like, so I'd be like, what I would put here for the post would be like first 2 years spaghetti to now I have a clear strategy. I wouldn't write the whole post out. I would just have the word spaghetti to strategy, parentheses, like first 2 years. So I just like know what that's about. And I'm like, oh yeah, I was like, that is something that people can relate to. I feel like that's good. That would be my topic here. And the first thing I would do is I would choose like which topic goes where, and then I would just write like an idea. So this is if you're thinking about your business as like a large corporation, this is like the CMO or content manager mind. It's like, I want you to be in the chief marketing officer mind. It's like, okay, what makes the most sense for my audience right now? If this is, we got 3 weeks till the end of the year, what are the 3 best topics that I have that would be relevant for my people? What is going on this time of year for them? What do they need? The next thing is for my warm people is like, I'm like, what can they implement as this is the third to last week before the end of the year? It's like, how can I help them plan a little bit better this week? And what I want to do is I talked about like, I would be like, ooh, they need to evaluate. I don't think they're evaluating every week for the spaghetti to strategy situation. I don't think they're evaluating. It's like, stop throwing spaghetti at the wall. Let's create a strategy. You create a strategy by evaluating, and I would just write evaluating spaghetti to strategy. I wouldn't write the whole post. I would just have a little snippet of it, enough for me to like think about it. And then I would have a testimonial about either a person, like it's like if a person actually does a video for me, you guys are going to get a testimonial template this week, but you can either have someone who has done a video for you, which is great. Then you can have a picture of someone and you talk about them and be like, this is great. Or you will have a story of someone who struggled with planning. And I'll be like, oh, one of my clients, it's like, I know exactly who that person is. I remember a story. She really struggled with planning. I'll talk about her. So does that make sense? It's like, I'll just be like, HS story. And I would put that here, but I wouldn't actually write the post. I would just write an idea. Yes. So the Tammy asked how does that factor in when you offer free classes every other week in a private group? Or do you find there are better days to offer the class? Great question. I would do the class about the warm post. Whatever you're teaching them, like if you're doing if your topic of the week is about planning, then you do the video about planning and how to do an eval. And you could post that video on the same day, a snippet from your group. You could be like, join the planning on Tuesday, and then on Thursday, you do the video in your group. Does that make sense? So
I think so, like so I have it mapped out that I do a free class, like the 15th and the 29th or the next 2 days, I'm doing a free class. So then when I'm doing these posts, not inside the group, but actually on my main page to drive more people to that free space to get a handle on budgeting their budget and creating peace in their money and having fun with it, then that's the things I'm going to talk about. And that's more to my warm market and not my cold market.
So let me rephrase it back to you. If one of your topics, we actually were making your pillars today, so very exciting. But it's like maybe one of your topics is finances, right? So it's like, it's going to be something we're going to have to figure out like what the specific things are. But if you're doing unbudgeting your budget, if a topic was budget or something like that, then that might, or it's like, and then financial confidence is another one. Those would be different topics. So you could talk about the unbudgeting your budget. It's like, do you ever feel like you struggle with a budget? I did too. It's like, I want you to know you're not alone, and keep following for more tips. PS, I've got a training coming soon. Warm,
Okay, so that's
like,
a warm hug, and then a value add is more for your warm people to keep nurturing them, and then your hot is just with the call to action in it.
book a
I got
call. Yes.
Okay. Thank
I,
you.
of course, does that make sense for everyone? So it's like I do a free in my coaching I have a Facebook group, and I can send you guys all the link for it. I have a free group where I'm going to include a snippet of that video on a different day as a different call to action. And so it's like each day, and a call to action is just something that we always want to be moving people towards opting in again, like opting in at the next level for you. So it's like, we want to be like, okay, it's like, what is the next thing for them to have availability for? And actually, one of my clients has a business, and it's made like $650,000 this year. And we just went through hers, and she was like, oh, this is a problem. Like, it was not clear what the next step was for people. It was like a whole thing. And I was like, we're going to like fix this for the future. So just so you know, like, you guys are learning this now, and it's something that you're going to take with you for as your business scales and grows too. So the first thing I do as the CMO, as the copywriting person, or as the person in charge of content, I want to figure out, okay, what are all the topics? And then as my monthly protocol, I also want to wear a different hat. I want to wear the hat of the content creator. I want to be the batcher, the videographer, or whatever you want to call it. And in that month, or in that first week in the month, I like to make all of my videos when I can for the whole month already. So it's like right now in December, I want to make my content for January. Now, does this always happen? No. Did I just make my reel for tomorrow today? Yes. I was like, totally fine. Instant forgiveness. This is just, again, these systems are here to be a helpful structure, not to make you feel like you have to do it perfectly. So it's like, you have to be flexible again with the holidays and things like that. I know things can be crazy, but just so you can kind of get in this idea, oh, I do see a way I can batch out my content monthly. So what I do then, after I've got all the topics, typically is what I'll have is a bunch of shirts. And I will, oh, Anise, I see your question. Give me just a second and I'll get it to you, I promise. But I'll just have a bunch of shirts, and I will pick 12 shirts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I will look at the topic and be like, spaghetti to strategy. Perfect. And I will put on a shirt, and I'll be thinking about it as I change the shirt. And if you want to be as crazy as I am, I'll be like, straight hair, straight hair, straight hair, straight hair, curly hair, bun, 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 curl, curl. It's like, you can go crazy with it if you want to make it look like it's different. But I'll be like, and I'll hold up my phone and I'll be like, when I first started my business, I literally felt like I was throwing spaghetti at a wall. It was so difficult because I had no plan, no structure, and no idea what I was doing. That's why I decided after that first 2 years, I was done, and I wanted to create a plan that I now call my strategy. I took it a minute and I figured out what were the things that were in my business that were generating revenue, and I made a protocol around them. That way, I would actually have a strategy each week to focus on the revenue generating activities instead of feeling like I was throwing spaghetti at a wall. If you feel like you're throwing spaghetti at a wall, don't worry, you're not alone. And it's like, I promise you, you will eventually create your strategy to make it better. Like and follow for more, and I'll teach you more as we go. Boom, boom, boom. Just getting it done. And be like, okay, next post is about like actually creating a plan, evaluating. It's like change shirts. I'm like thinking, evaluating. Let me tell you why evaluation is the #1 key for you to scale your business faster. Most people do the same things over and over again, and they might be things that aren't working for them. Fun fact, that's the definition of madness, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Do not drive yourself mad, especially before the holidays are over. Pause for a moment and evaluate. The 4 questions I ask myself are, what are my 5 wins? What's working? What needs improvement? And what can you do differently? I ask myself those 4 questions every single week, and it helps me grow every single week to change and evaluate. So I'm not just doing the same thing over and over again. Feel free to use that 4-step evaluation. And something it's like, I hope this 4-step evaluation helps you. Put comment eval and I'll send you the exact template I use. Something like that, like simple, easy call to action. Then I look and I'm like, HS story. I'm like, okay, changing shirts. Okay, going in. And like, I'm like, okay, now I'm going to talk about Holly. It's like, do you ever feel so overwhelmed? You just feel like you're shutting down? That's exactly where my client was last week. So you are not alone. And let me tell you what we did to fix it. What happened is she had added a bunch of things into our calendar that weren't generating revenue and had like 15 things to do every single day. Fun fact, 15 things is too many. So what we had to do is we had to reevaluate her calendar, take a look and see which are the things that are actually bringing in revenue, and then make sure that she was only focusing on those things and cutting those other things out. I call this CEO scheduling. It is something that I teach all of my clients in 6-figure systems, and I want to teach that to you too. You do not have to feel overwhelmed anymore. Please sign up for a consult. We can talk right before the holidays are over, and we can get you set up to finish 2023 strong and start 2024 stronger. The link is in my bio, and I will see you there soon. Boom. Do you see how it's like I had different flows for each of the people? It was like, just like, follow for more, a call to action. I've got those listed for you guys as well, but I have been doing this for 3 years. Please do not compare yourself to me. This takes me now about an hour to 2 hours to do the whole month, just the videos. It might take you 6. However, it will get shorter as you get more experience in exposure on camera, speaking, writing. Do you have a reel for cold, hot, warm, or whatever you fancy? Does that make sense?
I can change that sentence now because now you've given me a bit more detail. So, so you do 3. Looks like you do 3 reels a week.
Yep.
From what you just did, and do you do static ones? So when you say Monday cold, are you doing a reel and a static
for that topic?
So it's 2 posts, but obviously the same content. What you said to Tammy, wasn't it? The same content, but each one's 6 posts coming out a week. But yeah.
So I would have like spaghetti to strategy would be the picture, and the video with me would be talking about spaghetti to strategy. Then I would have eval to grow would be the picture for the static post, video of me talking about evaluation to grow. Holly's experience, it's like overwhelmed to clear. Holly's experience explained would be like maybe the post, or if they have given you an actual testimonial, a quote from them, and then a video of me or them talking about their experience. So it's like just working the same topic, but a post and a reel for each. So you can even change that word post. I think I actually have it in your spreadsheet as topic. But does that make sense? That's such a good question. I want to make sure that's clear for everybody.
That's fine.
So good. With the way the feed works, Tammy said, with the way the feed works, so I've yet to see videos show up consecutively from the other people. What are the things you do to evaluate in terms of engagement and feedback to know if a certain style works? So here's the thing. The algorithm, when we're gonna learn this in week 3, but week 4, whatever, not next week we talk about sales, the week after we're gonna talk about managing and generating more leads. This is what we call billboard marketing. It's like putting up a billboard. Hey, I'm open, work with me. Hey, I'm open, work with me. In order to get more engagement and get more people looking at your reels and things like that, that's where we want to, if you actually start talking with people and engaging in conversation, that is when your video, post, anything is going to show up more on someone's feed. So essentially what the research is going to show in 2024 is that a lot of people are doing like the posting and ghosting method, which is what I want to encourage you to do, is like we want to post and ghost, just like post, but then we want to be strategic about also engaging with people, which I'm going to teach you a really simple strategy. It's just 30 minutes a day that we're going to do in a couple weeks. But your post will get shown to people who you're talking to. It won't get shown to people if you're not talking to them. So when I say post and ghost, it means, yeah, like commenting, engaging the people, to get them commenting, engaging on your photos or your posts. We want them to be doing that. And the way that they actually get to see your post, to comment and engage on it, is by actually having conversations with them outside of them taking the first step, taking the first initiative to talk to you. Now, if we want to get, so if you get more likes, comments, or it's like, if you get more comments on your feed or likes or saves or shares, things like that, then that person will show up more on your feed and it does go out to more people. So I have a fun thing that we're going to be doing, and I'm going to make a, we're going to be commenting on each other's pages and pictures. We'll talk about that like at the end of today, but like I'm making us like an Instagram group where you can put your posts for the week and we can help each other get more engagement in that way. And we can start to think about our posts in that way too. But does that make sense, Tammy? Like, so it's like essentially what has happened is that there have been a ton of bots that have come up and they are just like copying and pasting people's content. And so the algorithm just needs to see that you're a human. So that was a lot for monthly batching, but like that is the biggest thing, is like just getting all those videos done ahead of time, and you'll get faster and faster the more comfortable you get on camera. Again, I've been doing this for 3 freaking years, so just like take your time. If you need to take 15 takes of something, that's totally fine. But I find that like, so I took a whole take of what I was going to do today as my reel for as my reel, and I like to take separate videos. So I like made this whole video and I went to go and get my lunch and I was like, that I could do better. I was like, I could do that better. And so then I literally like just redid it like a couple minutes later. So feel free to take multiple takes. Feel free to delete multiple takes. It's like, it takes time, but it will end up feeling a lot more streamlined. And then you can create a whole folder for, it's like January's content. You can just make a whole folder of all the videos. But in this moment, you're not making any of the graphics. You're not making any of you're not writing the words for the whole post. You're just doing the videos and topics. Then, yeah, so it's like change shirts and hairstyle. And like another thing that you can do is if you like to do what's called a trending reel. I'm going to text this in the group. I just sent a video about this to a client. The thing with the algorithm is it changes every single week. Not every week, but very frequently. It changes where everything is for reels and things like this. This is just for Instagram, but there are so many other things that are great. So within your, whatchamacallit, within the posting, it's like there is a little trending thing. So it's like you guys might see the little upward arrow. I'll send that to you guys now. I was like, I will forget. I'm like, I send it to you now. But one of the things that I do is like I just go through and I click on the trending audio. And if I don't feel like being creative in the moment, I just am like, and it's like point to it. I'm like, I will eventually figure out words to put where I'm pointing. But that's another thing that you can do to just make your life way easier and post in there. Does that make it sense to everybody? To make it really easy. I'm gonna say, and I'm just gonna send this to you guys. So if you have trending audio, like Lady Gaga, Boss Babe, In Sync, that's what that is here. So I was like, money back guarantee. And I would just say which outfit I wore. And sometimes I'll even put what hair I had so that I remember. I'm like, wait, where is this one? I'll be like, oh, it's this post. This goes here. Does that make sense as to where that is? And then I want to like, you choose the topic. So it's like, I was seeding this marketing conversion. So it's like, I talked about marketing the weeks before. It does, yeah. That's why it looks a little different. That was just kind of like an overview. TBS is like that way, that looks a little different. Yes. And I'll show you what it looks like for yours. And then I actually don't, I just use my phone. I have an iPhone, so I don't use any fancy apps. I literally just like put cinematic mode on. I record my videos like this, and then I actually cut it using the Instagram app. I just found that that's easier, but there are apps like InShot. There are CapCut is another one. I've never used them, but I've heard they're great. So if you are familiar with them, great. But I just use I make it super simple. So then what do you do weekly when you're creating content? Weekly is where I actually take the time to write the caption for the post reel combo for each topic. So then weekly on Friday, I take a different role and responsibility in my company, and I put on my copywriting hat and I write out my post. Now, something that you can do is use Talk to Type to create a video or to create the caption. Literally, if you feel more comfortable speaking, what you can do is you can literally like figure out, you can literally just use Talk to Type. This is something that's awesome. There are two ways that you can transcribe your text. You can either go to tools, go to voice typing, and use Talk to Type like this. One of the reasons I love using Google Docs is it's free. So you can literally take your video. Want to sign for one-on-one clients before the year is out? Here is one shift I want you to make before the end of the year. And this shift is in how you think about sales. And sorry, I realized that my camera, I was like, wherever the microphone is, you would put the same thing. You would just put your video right next to it. And I'll show you. Tools, voice typing. You might have to enable microphone. You want to sign more one-on-one clients before the year is out. Here is one shift I want you to make before the end of the year. Now, as you can see, that's great, but sometimes it doesn't always work perfectly, which is annoying. So if anyone has, Slack is another, again, I like to keep you guys as lean and as free as possible. So there is a tool called Slack where if you make a Slack, it will have a transcript for here as well. So I literally just took this for Tammy's video and I copied and pasted it. And then I edited it. So that is another helpful way to do that there. And then you can move things around and make it like understandable. So it's like so I do that for all the posts for the following week. I would do the cold, warm, and hot, and I'm wearing my copy hat. So it's like I would do that first. Then I would choose visual. So then I'd go and switch to the graphic designer role. And then I would be like, okay, what's a compelling quote from this? And then I would go into Canva or another thing that you want to use. And I would make the visuals after that. So again, it's just like helping your brain stay in one role at a time, making sure that you don't get super overwhelmed. Yes, it definitely doesn't always say the words correctly. So you definitely want to check it out. And then you can prep the reels, get them ready to go with location and tagging yourself. You can do that. You can also do hashtags. Are any questions about what I do weekly? I usually do this on Friday. You might have to get flexible if that doesn't work for you. Cool.
How long does that take you, Megan? The weekly?
That usually takes me an hour. But again, so if you think about it, it's 3 posts. 20 minutes per post. So I just try and time myself and get faster and faster every time. And
That's
then
the
it's done.
static ones, right?
One more time.
Is that the static ones when you're talking
It-
about that?
Great question. So I would write, again, do as I teach, not as I always do, but I would go and I would make, this is for the static. And I put the date,
Mhm.
and then I put the hashtags, and then I scroll down a smidge and I do this equal sign, and this is for the reel. So it's the same. This would be for my hot post. I have this as the hot post.
Oh, so this is what, so you've done all the videos and all the verbal blah, 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 finish that, go and have like, whatever. Then this is in your copy mind. This is your weekly thing where you then transcribe it onto your Google Doc and then go and do your visuals from Canva.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then you're using GPT to get the hashtags.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Or you could just use the same hashtags over and over. But like,
Yeah.
so it's like, as you can see for each post, it's like, this is like post reel, post reel, post reel, same content. I just like literally took 3 sentences from each. So it's like each day has a post and a reel. And when I was doing this for myself, I posted the post and the reel at the exact same time, at the exact same point in the day. I know there are different philosophies about like, okay, when is the best time to post? What time should I post? Should I post it on different days? It truly, that's for vanity metrics, not for getting people to sign up to work with you. So vanity metrics would be likes and like to get more views or things like that. It's like, of course we want to be going towards that, but the real, like, we want to be focusing on like building relationships. And this is just like an appetizer to the actual delicious entree of a relationship with you that people are getting. That was a weird way to say it. Don't know if I love that analogy, but like run with it. It was like, I don't know, that sounds cannibalistic. We're not here for that. So does that make sense for everybody about what I do weekly? Now for daily, when on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whenever, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or whatever 3 days you actually want to post, the way that I just made a protocol for myself. Now, y'all know I'm kind of OCD about things. So I like to do video, picture, video, picture, video, picture. So I would do, or picture, video, whatever. So it's like, I like to have it alternate. So I post the picture, then I upload the video to Reels, then I post the same video and post to stories. So it's just, I post both the things, repost a story. Cool. And then the other thing, so because people are buying from stories, there's lots of fun things you can do. You can get people to book a call. There's a way that you can include a link in there. Stories are a great resource to like get people to go from, like, make it really easy for them to buy from you. That is important there. Yeah, selling in stories is great. Oh, the other thing I want to mention is there are apps that can help you schedule out the posting. So if you wanted to, you could actually do all of this on one day if you wanted to, and you could schedule it out using something. There's Later. It's not free, but you could do Later. I think they give you like 12 posts a month, so maybe it could be free for you guys. And the only issue I found with that is I can get the static posts, but the reels, you can't include audio, which is annoying to me. So it's like I couldn't put any sound or make it fancy. So you can schedule it out, but you don't have to. But again, like coming back to the vanity metrics thing, it's like the purpose of marketing is to get results. So we want to bring in more people that are purchasing what your company has to offer, not views or clicks. I have like 0 views. I have like 0 comments, likes, all this stuff. And I made 150K this year. I literally, for the past 2 weeks, I've had 2 posts that I put up and nobody liked it. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. I've got like a fair amount of followers. I was like, that is so interesting. Okay. So just know that it has nothing to do with you or your company's ability to be successful, your business. It's literally just like, we just want to be putting up that billboard as much as possible. You guys are doing freaking awesome. Yep. Stay focused on the humans. You're probably going to have lots of questions about this when you actually go to do it. So when you go to do it, if you have questions later, if you want, and we're going to talk about like actually like looking at people's copy, I'm going to make us an Instagram group. All this is going to be available for us. But there are no questions about the protocols. I want to talk to you about like how to actually write the copy. What is that copywriting when you're wearing that hat? What do you do? So again, we're going to come back to like the whole business formula, what it looks like to make your business work. We're going to talk about what we're going to do to track progress in the future. And then just quick 3 pieces to write copy. And then I'm going to show you how to write your copy with examples. So when we are thinking about a formula for your business to grow, I like to think about it like a formula, like, okay, these are the things that it takes for a business to grow. And the reason why I mentioned this right now on week 2 is we want to keep this in perspective. The reason why I spent 6 hours like a freaking day on marketing was because I wasn't thinking about my business as a whole. So marketing is just a small piece of your business. And when we think about your business, there are things that work for your business in direct ways, like actually posting, actually going on sales calls, doing webinars, building relationships. Those are things that like directly make clients. Then there are also indirect ways. There's like managing the back end of your business, making sure you're planning, getting your actual clients results, getting certified, getting coaching. Those are all things that are indirect things that are happening at once to make your business work. So we want to be increasing intensity for things that work. Now, there were a ton of things that I did indirectly for my business: self-coaching, managing, making sure I was evaluating, planning, delivering to my clients. This is in 2022. I did a ton of things on the back end of my business so that it would help my business grow. However, I want you guys to think, this is the reason why I bring this up now, not later, is I spent 900 freaking hours on writing posts in 2022. It was a lot of time that I know that some of you guys are just like me and you're spending a lot of freaking time writing posts. At this stage of your business, the posts are going to bring in a lot of cold people and maybe warm up some warm ones. But I spent like 0 time like networking. I did a couple of webinars and presentations. I had referrals, ton of time on posting, ton of time on email lists, ton of time on podcasts. What happened is I didn't realize where my clients were coming from in 2022. So I focused a lot of my energy on the thing I thought that other people were doing, which is posting. I want you guys to make a list. If you haven't even worked with clients or anything like that yet, it's like I want you to make a list of people who have worked with you, whether it's free or paid. Where have they actually come from? And I want you to put your energy there, not on posting. It's like, because for me, I got 10 consults in all of 2022 and only 3 became clients from posting. Spent all this time posting, not where my people came from. So it's like just considering the source. We want to increase the intensity for things that work. And then when you fully book and things like that, then we can change your prices and things like that. But you want to focus on the things that are actually working to currently build your business. So I literally made a list of all the people I had a consult with, and the red was referral, and word of mouth is WOM is word of mouth. These are people who I had actually relationships with. The yellow was Instagram, and the orange was Instagram, yellow is presentations, green is if they converted to a client, white is if they did not convert to a client. We're going to actually track this in the future, but if you guys want to start creating an informal list, if you've got some time, that would be really helpful. So you can see, it's like, where am I actually bringing clients in? Let's focus our energy there. So what I found is that like networking if I was just talking to humans, I got 29 consults from there, 23 clients, 79% conversion rate. From Instagram, I got 4 clients, 57% conversion rate. From webinars, 4 for 4. So it's like, if we look at this, I know each of you personally now. It's like all of you guys are like incredible and compelling. I would love for you to start talking to humans, you know, whether that's networking in networking groups, whether that's talking to people online, which we're going to talk about next week, mixed with, or not next week, 2 weeks from now. But it's like, we want to focus on the things that are working for your business. And we're going to start to figure out, okay, what actually, if I want to hit the numbers I want to hit, what would it take for me to convert at the rate I am? So that is just like perspective. So marketing is important. The reason why I'm teaching you this first is it's important because it took a ton of time, and we want to cut the time back for Instagram or posting. You guys want to focus. It's like I want to give you a quick way to just get stuff out there. And I want you to focus on the things that work. Now, if you don't have a formula, if you've never had a client or anything like that, guess what? You get to follow my formula, which is spending 5 hours a week on the networking piece, like an hour and a half-ish on Instagram, and planning for an hour and a half, and doing webinars whenever you can. So it's like, you don't have a formula, guess what? You're about to use mine, which is great. So again, that's what I said here. It's like, just follow my lead. Let's talk to as many people as possible. And then also get the posting and things like that going. And again, reminding, if you need help, this is the time. So it's like, if you're like, ooh, this isn't working for me, talk about it in the feed. Feel free to reach out to me. All this is for you. But there's just a very basic formula for writing copy that I want to show you guys. So just some stats for you. When you are writing a post, typically 80% of people only read the first sentence. It's a lot of people. So if you want to focus your time anywhere with your copywriting, bring that headline, is what's called the headline. That's where we will bring your creative energy. So I was like, Jess, yep, same for me. I was like, yep, that's where I spent a ton of time. It's like, we just want to get something out there and get you talking to people. So, and you have talked, it's like every one of you has talked to people. We just need to like talk about how to glean them, convert them. So when we're talking with the cold people, this is where you want to be like, this is something I learned. This is a how-to, this is someone's results. Those are examples. I love to use questions, statistics, or something surprising. Like 80% of people only read the first sentence of what you write. That could be a perfect headline. It's like for marketing, you know, it's like, if I was doing a warm post about marketing, that'd be a great headline for it. Then you want to go into the body. Now, for your offer, we already have the problem, solution, process, result. You can literally take the pieces of your core pillars, and then you can think about, okay, what is the problem? What is the solution? What do you do to overcome the problem? And then you can get into your process, or you can just say is why, the result, why is it important they solve the program? And that's what you can use for the body. Make it super simple on yourself. And then, so 80% of people read the headline and nothing more. Then with the call to action, that's the last thing. And like a lot of times people will say like, PS, like XYZ. What you want to do here is you want to be able to, that's also, it's like 80% of people read that, and something like of the 80% is like 70 skim to the bottom to see what the last sentence is. So it's like, I forget what the actual stat is, but like most people are just going to skim to the bottom, be like, okay, it's like, yep, that's nice. Like, I think about you as a consumer. Do you actually read every word that I post? Probably not. Even if you like love me, it's like, I hope you love me, but it's like, even if you really enjoy me, it's like, if I'm posting, nobody actually reads everything. So don't stress it. Focus on these two if you're going to focus on something, and it's going to get better as time goes on. And if you're doing something like a webinar, or right now, if you're like, okay, I really want to call people, you can have a specific call to action, like work with me, work with me, work with me, work with me, join the webinar, join the webinar, join the webinar, join the webinar. It doesn't have to be like and follow, join or comment for more, and sign up for a consult. So you can change these calls to action. You can be like, comment this emoji, something fun. So this is an example of what I did for a post. And I was like, the grade is like, bring your information to digestible concepts. And then look, even as you're reading this, you're probably skimming a lot of this. I've tried to make my posting a lot shorter, but it's like I put like bold words. It's like teaching, digestible, breaking down, clear. Like think about you as a reader. It's like, what's going to stand out for you? Now I found out I have ADHD, and I found that like I had someone who's teaching me how to write even better copy. She might even come and like, I'm like trying to see if she can come do like a bonus training for you guys. But within my copy, she was like, actually, most people don't always read like that. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. But for me, as a person with ADHD, I always go to the bold words and the all cap words. And I'm like, let me just see. Okay, I get it. Oh, you need to break down, make it clear. Okay, that makes sense. Ooh. And then the second post of the week is where I do the same. And then, so like I said, take that large piece of copy, make 4 sentences for the caption and 2 sentences for the reel. So you could take that and make it even simpler. So you could be like, this is everything I really liked. And that doesn't even make sense. I was like, I think what I meant by that is like, you can simplify that even more. What I meant is that you take this for the sentences for the post and then 2 to 3 sentences for the reel. I need to change that in my.
So are you talking about looping reels? Like when, like 2 sentences, that's like 5 to 7 seconds.
Yeah, so for the actual like words that pop up, it's like that those could be like the bolded words, and then like I have like 3 sentences per reel typically. Again, for yours, it didn't say book a one-on-one consult. So I'm meeting with Tess tomorrow. We'll talk about it. But like now that I have somebody else doing my content for me, it doesn't go exactly the same, but still it should be helpful. And again, I wanted to create like a good like weekly visual for you guys. And if you follow my copy as of today, it will be in this format. But I had this giveaway random thing that was like happened today. So I was like, oh crap. So if you go on my page, you're not going to see the 2. It won't be the 222 until after today. Any questions?
Megan, question.
Yeah.
Are you like the copy that you showed in the message before, would that also be repurposed for email?
Yes, ma'am. So that's what I do every email is my warm
Okay.
post. Such a good question.
Okay.
Yeah. I literally like, I took this and I was like, test everything. Cause again, last week was kind of crazy because I like for you guys to have a grid of 3. So you're going to have a pinned post here, a video of you talking about your program here, and then your freebie, which for you right now is book a consult. So it's going to be like, and this is a carousel post. So that's going to be, and it's got my pillars and things like that in here. And then the next one is just a video of me talking about the program. And then right here, it's going to be book a one-on-one consult with me. But I would love for you guys to like put this in for your social. And for me last week, I remade this. So it's like on Monday, I did this one, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Because she posts for me every day. Are there any questions? And also like you can like look, it's like 2 likes, 1 comment, and the comment is me putting the captions in. Another thing is like if you want to get more comments, the hashtags are here.
Megan, can I ask?
Yes.
When on your videos, you got your lines, your 2 lines. Did you do that on Canva?
Like
Your-
this, the right here.
That's way too complicated for me. It's giving me a headache. That no, I meant like
Fine.
like say the top one. I know I don't like too much visual. Say the top one, make more impact. That one. So you've got that video. You've done that in your monthly batch, and then to put those little lines, did you? Oh, is that just using the caption button on the Instagram thing? Oh yeah, I use that as well. Okay.
Yeah, and so you can just literally like put the captions on there. Like that's literally like what I did. And like a little hack, I was like, I totally, if you guys, you do not have to have brands or colors or things like that, but you can choose similar colors. So every time that people go to my feed, they know if they see words like this in blue, orange, purplish, pink, green, or teal, it's probably a post from Megan. And I use the same font every time. So like this is like same font, same font, same font. And literally like this right here, it's like keep it super simple. But you can start to do that to create like recognition. Now, this is going to be annoying for me because I'm weird about my feed and I'm like, I don't want a random ass thing that's not my colors to be on there, but that's fine.
And so you don't have the scrolling words of your video? Or is that just not
That one, but I do for most, and I'm going to ask Tess about this tomorrow.
No, not necessarily Tammy's, but like your ones.
Mm.
Just wondering, those words that you've got on the screen.
Usually she does have the words on the screen for me. And
Those
then
words. Okay. All right.
but then so it's like I have the scrolling words, and then if it's like a trending one, then I'll have them pop up at different times. Oh, it's obnoxious. I love it. I'm like, oh! Doesn't get easier, even if you've been in business for quite some time. So totally fine. I'm also gonna send you guys like I would love to see your bios updated. So like let's like whatever yours is, like you can even say your pillars. It's like ready to market, sell, generate leads, and plan your business. My program is your solution. Start here and make it really clear for people to work with you. Are there any questions about your bio or your grid of 3? That's a lot of teaching. I promise it gets into more coaching. Like today for the group right before you guys, we coached for like the whole time, pretty much. Teach heavy at the beginning. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. The other fun thing, well, I've got 2 more fun things. Remind me about Allison if I don't tell you about Allison. But one of the things that I think is really exciting is the thing that makes this different is having a community, having people to actually help us each other out. Like we are a family now. Fun fact, you're ready. And so you want to do is we have a whole, for anyone in, I'm going to make a 6-figure systems. Where is it? Y'all got a lot of messages. We're going to talk about, where is it? The 6 figures. It's like, I've got a whole group of everyone in the group before you guys. So everyone in this mastermind, even if you're not on Facebook or on Instagram, someone in the last group is not on Instagram at all, and that's totally fine. But, oh, it's because I tagged them. I was like, I wonder, I know it's in here, but there's a whole Facebook group for the 6 figures. I have a whole group for everyone in 6-figure systems. Here, 6-figure success peeps. So it's like everyone's posting their posts in here. Just the post for the last group. So everyone can go in. So if you post, reshare it like this, like share to 6. Oh, it just showed up. 6-figure success peeps. You don't need to put a message. I'll put a, it's like Six Figure Systems Mastermind, I'll make us a new group and we can start liking each other's posts for each other. So you can get a couple of those vanity metrics up and commenting on each other's posts. Like so freaking good. You want to have 3 words in your comment. So like, even if she wasn't getting any comments, like at least we would be posting in there for her. Like, so it's like, oh, and I didn't comment on this one. My bad. But it's like, I'll try and go in for sure and comment on each of yours as well. But just so we can all like support each other, you can see what other people are doing for their copy and things like that. This is a community to support each other. So that's going to be something really fun that you can consider doing in the future. Are there any questions about the new little, that's why, one of the reasons why I had you guys in the stream for everyone to fill out your contact info. I'm going to have your Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, email, phone number. Go ahead and fill this out. I'll add it again to the notes from today. But I'm going to start sharing your weekly wins and things like that. And I'm going to make the group and I'll share it in here. Again, Alicia does not use Instagram at all. So she's completely opted out of the little chat, but it's there if you want it. If you want to use it, great. If you want to use it just so I can comment and like on your posts and stuff like that, great. And I'll start to give you feedback on stuff like, hey, change the color of this. Hey, post this, make sure you put it on your story. This is so good. Like add this, have more of this. I want to start looking and being in your business, looking at your copy, making sure it's like freaking awesome. And whenever your grid of 3 is done, again, the grid of 3, and I'll include a little visual for it. It's making sure that you've got the carousel post with your pillars, video of you talking about it, book a one-on-one call with me. Once you've got that up, feel free to message me and I will take a look at it.
I think I missed something. When did the pillars come up? Which post is that with the pillars?
The repost, and I'll here, I've got a
Pillar carousel. Is that your hot?
That's just about the whole program. So it's like I have this thing about like making your Instagram function like a website. So
Okay.
it's like we want to make sure your bio is optimized.
Yeah.
Include some highlights, but then the program is going to be 1, a video of you talking about it is 2, and then a freebie would be book a one-on-one consult. Here.
Yes, but how does that fit with your monthly?
Oh, this is just so with Instagram, you can pin things. And then this is something I just want you guys to have in general.
Right. That's why I missed it. Right. Wasn't paying attention. Thank you.
No worries. I was like, no, that was such a good clarification. Nothing to do with your grid, nothing to do with your content calendar at all. It's just something I really, with
Right.
social becoming a search engine, I want it to be super clear that the second someone searches you, if they want to work with you, they can.
So you pin those so the minute someone goes onto your Instagram, they see those 3. Ah, so clever. See, that's worth the money altogether. Brilliant. Love it.
I'm like,
God.
it's like literally my post next week is going to be all about this, like how to make a grid of 3. So I'm like, because I think that like literally the first thing you do, anytime someone books a consult with me, I go on their page and see if this is here. Anytime. I'm like, it is not. And the majority of humans, it is so unclear. It is like, what do you do? Do you want me to work with you or not? It's like, I like, and then having like something like a link tree, or if you want, so this is like for you right now, I want everybody to make sure you've got a way for people to book a consult with you, whether that's Calendly or things like that, and you can make that your link. Linktree is a free resource, and I can send that to you guys. Like, so Linktree is a free resource where you can put different links in, and you do not need to have a website or anything like that. You can literally just have like the first link be book a one-on-one consult. I would not put anything. I would just have the link straight to the consult. However, if you have a website or something like that, I was like, if you want to improve people coming to your website, you can have a page that has these links, not a link tree. And instead of people clicking here and going to Linktree, which gets Linktree more clicks, they can go to my website and get more clicks. So if the more clicks you get on your website, the more visible it gets. Does that make sense? So it's like, and the only reason I have a Linktree after learning this is I should probably just take this off. I just literally have not had physical time since I learned this a couple weeks ago to get people to go to my website. But like my client Amy told me about it. And instead of going to her, and I was just like, I was in a launch and stuff. So no excuse, but it looks like a link tree, but this is on her website. So it same format of a link tree. See, it looks very similar to this where you can click on different links, but this is on her actual website. So her website gets more views versus Linktree. Again, you do not have to have a website to be in this program at all, but great. Oh, Missy, I just saw you. Hey, look at the biofeedback. I can't wait. I will definitely check it out. Let's see.
Thank you.
Let's look it up.
Did
So,
it? I tried to send you a picture, but I don't know if it went through.
I think it came through, but let's just see it like here for everyone to
Okay,
see.
cool.
Oh, wait, is it different now? Let me see it.
No, that's it. Sorry, I have you on my phone. I gotta get
Okay, if
focused.
you want
They
to,
used to
so it's
talk
like-
about.
Hmm?
Hmm.
So it's like, I love that this is not, I think it was, were you the one that was like, with the dog and things like that?
Narrating my dog's thoughts.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Okay, so it's definitely better than the dog's thoughts. That's good. What I would love for you guys to do now for your grid of 3 is like you can take my exact profile, and also emojis help for people to view stuff. Literally, if you think about like you as a consumer, this helps for me. So it's like it's like, so this is my example. Example. But what I would do for you is I would say template, bio template. Oh my gosh, I could totally do this for everybody. I'm like, I need to make this like a thing, but it's like ready to blankety blank pillars. Blank is for you. Start here. So I would make it, if we're looking at your specific pillars, I would make it missing. I would say ready. Boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna move this down. Missy's example. I would say ready to hold. Ready to oh man. Hold please. It's like it's coming. I'm quick, but I'm not that quick. Ready to find your direction, develop wellness habits that work for you. Or say, I would say this is a bit long, so I'd say like improve your wellness, relieve stress, and become, because like in like what they would become a decision-making machine, question mark.
Mhm.
And then we would say the momentum initiative is for you. Start here, book a consult.
Okay. That dang word count, man. It's tricky.
I was like, here, I'm going to copy and paste this into the chat. Try it. And if it doesn't work, let me know. And we can have different words here. And I would capitalize direction, wellness,
Hmm.
stress, maybe different word. I really like this machine. It's like maybe, but like I know it's around decision making, but it's like I don't know if I want to capitalize decision and making. So I'm like, yeah, we can just capitalize it. It might be too many words. It's 90 words, everyone. So if
Okay.
anyone wants to
I
help
can,
you do that. Yeah. Go ahead.
thanks.
Did that work?
I think so.
Fuck yeah.
Cool.
I would put like a little the little emoji, like the little arrow down. Like these, like you see how I've got like emojis. If you have room to put emojis, that might be when I look at people's pages, I feel like it gives me an idea of who they are. I used to have, you'll see in here, I used to have little leaves, like this little thing, but I found that it was like helpful. But I'm so excited for this to happen. I'm like, this is so freaking good. I'm like, it literally like, and I can like audit your social and just like have you ready to rally. Tammy, you
Thank
want me to check
you.
yours out too? I was like, of course. It's like, let's check it out. Yes, and I would say instead of watch my daily stories, change it to start here. Fire. And we're going to talk through your pillars. So we might change it instead of mindset coach. It's like, why do they give them a why for the mindset coach? It's like ready to blankety blank blank. The debt strategy solution is your solution. We need to figure out a different word, but like the resilient life is your solution. Something like that. Because we want to get more about like if people look up the resilient life, they don't really see it here. I want them to see it here. It's here, but we want it more. More.
Thank you.
Of course.
Megan, can I ask about highlights?
Of course.
How do you get yours to have the same color on all the highlights?
It's on Canva and it's the same graphic. And it's literally like if you go to Canva and you do, and it's if you do logo, you can literally just look up a logo.
Do it that way.
You can do it like that.
Is that also where you got your MAW as well?
So this MW, I had a person do that for me.
Nice, yeah.
And I love her dearly.
Yeah.
I will say it did take me quite some time to get my things back. 11 months, which is quite some time. So, but I still love her and I think she's gotten faster since then, but that was I would tell you, but I did recently tell someone about her and it did take them like 4 months. So I'm like, I wouldn't personally recommend the person who I worked with, but there are people you can look up for branding and I will probably be finding a new person soon. But I don't know, I like my colors. I'm like not feeling my website is something I'm like thinking about investing in sooner rather than later. But more so I'm like, again, why I haven't changed my website and like made these is like I want to focus on like meeting more people and meeting my bottom line, and then I can focus on the fun, like extra stuff, like branding and jazziness. I'm also going on the trip I'm going on this weekend. We're gonna be doing content batching and taking pictures. So you do not ever have to have professional pictures taken. I like to have the reasoning behind my graphics is like I like to have face text, face text, face text. And I've done that without any new pictures. So like you do not have to have professional pictures taken. You literally like you can see me and my cat here. Look at Fitz. He's so small. But in any event, it's like so like you don't have to have professional pictures taken, but I am gonna get them and I might switch up putting this cover from Canva. I might put like have the text go on the reel and then the post be the new pictures, but I haven't decided yet. Does that make sense? So I still want to keep Canva it's like Canva picture, Canva face, Canva face as like the flow of it, but I might switch it to like the reels having the cover. And like here, I'll show you. We just physically ran out of pictures. I like did not have any more pictures. And I was like, that's fine. I was like, we'll just switch it back. But I used to have, yeah, do you see how it's like these are like pictures? So, and then I had the reel here. Picture, reel, picture, reel, but with the Canva cover. So if you have pictures, that's another way you can get like the same consistency. And I might not even release the pictures until my launch in March. I haven't decided yet. Because usually when you have pictures or like something new, people will like a bunch of your stuff. Okay, awesome. So Tammy said Looka.com is a great thing for website logos as well. No, and then Tammy said, do you have a walkthrough or know any good resources for getting good with Canva? I would say simple is best. So I would say that for the, like I reuse the same thing and just like make a copy. So it's like if you make a copy and then if you do have colors, let's say you do have branding colors or something like that, you can add colors here. And if you have the free version, you can still add 3 colors. So if you like choose 3 colors you like, you can still click on here. And if you click shuffle, same thing. So again, I like to keep it very, very simple. And so my coach 2 weeks ago, right after the launch finished, challenged me to do 10 reels in a day. In a day, guys. And I had like 4 hours to do it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then this one, the last day, and this one for my social media person. So I literally did 12 freaking posts in one day. And so it's like the skill of learning how to do this quickly is something that I was like, I know my coach is telling me to do this for a reason. And I'm like, who knows? Maybe I'll have to like figure this out really quickly in the future. But you can see I just made it super simple. And I was like, I just made it like the rainbow. I was like, this is like pinkish red, orange, green, teal, blue. Wow. My brain was like, what's that color? Blue. But again, I did it in that format I told you. I was like, I made all the videos first, then I put the text on it, then I like chose all the topics. I did all the questions I've ever gotten about my business, picked them, did all the videos, added the stuff, wrote the post, and then posted. But it's like even though I did it in one day, having that flow was very, very helpful. I'm gonna say resources. I'm gonna put Canva in here, and I'll put the link tree. So logos, and then another great resource is graphics. If you want, if you're like, hey, I have found that I do better when I speak in a longer period of time. And like I have it's like you feel like that's an easier way. If you just want like video, if you want to record like a longer video, but it doesn't create, why is it not going there? There's this thing called Video AI, and you get 75 minutes for free. And if you have longer videos, it will cut it down to reels. So if you click it in here, you can import a video. And it does that for free. It's for the whole month. And so I wanted to explain what that would look like if you were to join the mastermind, because I know a lot of you are thinking about it. So one of the things that I realized that I really wanted is to have some sort of that one-on-one aspect, because I wanted to know. So I took a video I did in my group and it cut it to 53, 52, 26 and sessions. And the way it's like you can choose what kind of format you want it to be. You can choose a different thing here. And like, I think if you just like click different, like, yeah. So it's like, if you wanted to like edit and download the video, it gives you a ton of different, like this is like different text to make it fancy. I know you guys, you might have seen this with other people. I have not used this really, but I wanted to show you that that's like another option for you. It's called Video AI. So I'll put that as here. Now, with this is fun. So great segue. Next week, it's like, I know that some of you guys like might be choosing different avenues for your people. So actually, before I talk about that, I want to explain, you guys might have heard the word funnel before. Like everyone probably heard of a funnel. So within a funnel is just a way for you to get people to bring people in to work with you. So a funnel, we want to have it look like this. Lots of ways for people to kind of interact with you. Then a simpler way to opt in, and then a way for people to work with you. Within the basics of six-figure systems, the first piece of your funnel is social media. Media and lead generation, which you learn in 2 weeks. Talking to people, networking, and how to produce content. With social media and things like that, you can choose any form of social. You do not have to have social. You also can network in a bunch of places. You do not have to have it. I'm just showing you the things that you learn within this program. Then your next opt-in for people is going to be a consult call, which we're going to talk about next week. And then people are going to become clients and work with you. And we're going to talk about how to like create different things for your clients and things like that in the future. There are a million things you could put in here, and here, and here. Different ways for people to do a smaller opt-in, different other things. You can have an email list that I think someone mentioned earlier. You can have a Facebook group. You can have blogs. There are so many things that you can do. And one of them is podcasting. Okay. That's something if you could do like YouTube videos, whatever. However, I believe that you do not need to we want to keep it as simple as possible. We want to keep it as minimal as possible at the very beginning. However, I do know that there are people who might be looking to add different things if you feel like it's a strength of yours, if you want to do a different type of funnel. So I have like deliveries here, webinars, like that would be another different like way for people to like opt in. It's like webinars you will learn in this program, webinars, have a freebie, things like that. Within the program, I want to just give you as many resources as possible. So like, again, I explain how to do, if you want to make a Facebook group, I talk about it here. However, you're also going to learn a bunch of different things, and I wanted to have a guest speaker come for you guys. So if you are interested in doing a podcast next Thursday at 6 p.m., my former client and amazing friend, Allison McLean, is going to come and she's going to talk to you all about podcasting. If it's something that you're interested in, it's going to be just an additional bonus resource. She talks about like how she would recommend that you she talks about your recommendations. So if I would love for you to take them like seriously, she has like 200 episodes in her podcast, and she started it what she would consider too early. I also had a podcast, started too early. It took a lot of time. So it's like, this is something I just wanted to provide as a resource if it's something you're interested in. And that is going to be on at 6 p.m. on the date I just had, the 21st. So if you would like to come to that, I will include a link for that in the stream, but that is also coming up. We're also going to have like, there are a bunch of guest speakers that you're going to see replays for later, but I might have a couple more guest speakers coming in just for like fun stuff in the next couple weeks. So great segue. I know I coached, yes, of course, replay access, and it's going to be awesome. Like it's like, and you will have that, and it'll be under bonuses, or it'll be under guest speakers eventually. I know today was a lot of talking. It was like kind of like talking collaboration, but we still have time. If someone wants some like mindset coaching on anything really quick, usually it will not be this long, but I wanted to see, and I don't have anybody until 4. So it's like I can go a little bit longer if you need, no pressure. You guys have set aside 2 hours and I want to respect that. However, if you want coaching, bring it. Tammy.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this was super awesome. It's a lot of information, a lot to process. So my initial thing is like, oh my gosh, overwhelmed. What do I do first? How do I even, you know, so for me, it's kind of like I like to communicate via reels or carousels and not so much like very wordy long posts, because those to me are painful. So I'm like, let me just pick the ways that I feel like I communicate best, which is why I mostly do reels or carousels. Or if I do a wordy post, it's not very wordy at all. Like it's not, and there's like a lot of spacing and emojis and stuff, so that people don't fall asleep reading it and or click off before they got halfway through it. So with all these things, I'm just feeling like, whoa, my brain is numb, and all the systems and I know like I'll eventually get there. I'll eventually, like a buffet, I'll pick and choose which parts of what you showed me. But I think it's just the initial overwhelm of, okay, well, I want to try all the things and be able to figure out what is going to work best for me.
Yep. So this is so good. And I'm sure all of you guys, like, we're probably all feeling it right now. We just talked for like an hour and 45 minutes. That is normal. But I think this thought, I want to try all the things, it might be coming from a place of that, like, what you're doing right now is not amazing and good and going to get you the results you want.
I think there's probably like, ooh, am I not so much FOMO, not like a fear of missing out, because like I know God's gonna bring me exactly what he has for me if I lean into him. But it's more of this, oh, okay, am I being faithful with the little that I have so that I can be promoted? And so learning these new skills and things, it's like, oh boy, okay, well, what do I need to do first? Like one of my questions was kind of like, oh my gosh, how do you even know what to look at when you're looking at insights to know what to measure, other than like, okay, I just stopped looking at people engaging on my stuff, because at the end of the day, I was signing more people through my stories or through people who would never emoji or comment on my stuff anyway, yet they were seeing it because they would click on my links, and that's how I knew they got on my schedule. So it's almost like I've kind of, like the thought of reflecting on what's working best so that I can tweak and fine tune. I've kind of thrown that out the window, and I just said, okay, I'm just going to throw as much spaghetti at the wall as I can, see what sticks, and clean up the mess from there.
Yes. And so I think that like what's happening is your brain is from a goal to sign new clients. It's like, if we're thinking about like, okay, do I look at this first? Do I look at this first? It might be coming from a mindset that like where I'm at like is not good and won't work to get the clients. And we want to, it's like, I need to do something else to make it good. Where I want you to come is like, everything I'm doing is going even like great. Everything that I've done up to this point is great. You are in this room for a reason. Every single person is in this room for a reason. You are already doing a great job. And then we want to filter in, okay, what do I want to do to make even better? What is the easiest thing I can do that I can implement right now or soon? And strategically, like, because it's like one of the things that I think is really important is that, like, I don't want, when you're in a learning capacity, everything up until this point and with school is like you learn, you have to do what I say to get the right result. With this mastermind, I want you to be like, okay, I'm the CEO. I'm going to focus in on, like, I'm doing this to add stuff to my business, but not to overwhelm me, and create like an environment where I can be like, okay, what's the easiest? And then how can I strategically like implement this stuff in time that works for me? Like, if this season is crazy for you, try the content calendar in January. Try it in February. We're in this mastermind for 6 months for a reason. So don't get like, it's like, when is the time that works best for me? I'm going to take in all this information. I'm just going to learn it, glean it, listen, take it in. And then as I see fit, then I can implement it, But like, I think even just like thinking about like, oh, when we talk about pillars, because we're meeting tonight to do our one-on-one, it's like, okay, that's something I can start to think about now. I can
Yes.
start to think about and create. And for everybody, I would say that, like, what I would say the number one thing for, I have like an eval here, but I'm like, for the number one thing for everybody is like, let's just get this bio cleaned up. Let's get that like grid of 3. And then start like, then if we have time, try this monthly calendar. If not, just getting ideas for January. Does that feel a little bit easier? Like, okay.
I feel like after you and I meet tonight, I'll have a more, I think once I get the pillars, I'll be full of like, because I like using Chat GPT, but then like on purpose, I follow people who I find fascinating and creative, because then just watching their stuff gives me more ideas. And so like I think it's just a matter of fine tuning and tweaking the pillars for myself. Like I kind of sort of have a very loose idea, but because it's loose, when I go to do my posts and stuff, Instagram is like, I have no clue what you're feeding us. I have no clue who to put you in front of because you keep changing your mind every other day, kind of thing, other than the finances, debt negotiation, dealing with creditors, and the unbudgeted budget where you have freedom in your budget. Like those things tend to be sticking points for me. But I also want to pick up a little bit more on like the mindset coaching, from like not so much like the money mindset, because I feel like I could bring on more clients in terms of just general mindset, like covenant coaching, which is like everyone has access to Holy Spirit. Let's show you how to really lean in and hear for yourself and stop doubting that you can hear him. You know what I mean? Like I want everyone to know that they can do that if that resonates with them.
And I think then for you, it's like, we'll make one of your pillars, like these are Missy's pillars. But when we think about it, like, so it's like one of the things, it's like you can pull out things. It's like, and what I'm hearing is like confidence in there. Like, it's like, it sounds like the covenant, a word that might be more searched could be direction, clarity, focus, confidence, something like that. So then you can like bring in the like the covenant thing. I was like, my brain, the covenant thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forget the last piece of it, but it's like that can be a smaller piece that you can write a post about. But the other thing with chat is then like, if you guys want to use chat, there's no pressure. A lot of people are like really like, people are like very polarized about AI. So there is no pressure to use AI. However, oh man, I was like, so if you like, I just asked chat, I was like, write a post about marketing, addressing marketing struggles for a solopreneur. So you could be like, write a post addressing clarity. It's like, for you, Missy, you could be like, write a post about direction, and I'm only using Missy because we don't have your pillars yet, but like for a woman in her 30s or something like that, and be like, let's talk shop. You're wearing all the hats, overall options, visibility. It's like embrace them as opportunities and use them to grow. This is like, I did not write this, but literally chat just did that. And I literally like, this is what I used for today. Oh, and I
So
didn't send
to just go and you just kind of tweak and fine tune it based on verbiage you would use and kind of making it your own, but allow Chat GPT to give you the bulk of it and change 20 to 30% of it, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I think it's like once I'm pretty sure once we get my pillars and stuff, because like I shared something with you. I don't know if you saw it, but like I started filling out the pillars and I added stuff before and after it to kind of brain dump and get out of my head the different names and things and stuff so that when we meet today it could be more fruitful. Yeah, so I think that probably will help with that. And then the grid of 3, that was the
that's
figuring out like real word
It's
static post you
program.
can put, and then a carousel or something like that.
Carousel about your program, video of you talking about your program, book a one-on-one consult.
Okay.
Right here for everybody. I'll say grid of 3, 1. Ooh, I don't know why it moved over. Okay. Post about program / pillars. 2, video talking about your program. 3, book a consult. I love this. So good. Are you feeling better now that it's like, I think there's gonna be a lot of clarity coming very soon, but does that feel complete to you?
Yeah, I think the clarity will come later today when we
It'll come.
actually have the pillars, because it's like the program has evolved from, okay, I'm doing a 6-week thing. And then I got feedback from another mastermind I'm part of how one of the people became a client, and she was like, I would totally pay you X amount per month to have ongoing support until all of my debts are settled in collections and my credit bureau is looking good and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's totally something I hadn't even thought of.
Yeah. And so like for me, I found that my pillars, like, so I've also changed my pillars and things like that. When I first started my business, I had somebody tell me that I should teach presentations because I used to teach. And they were like, oh my gosh, this is going to be like so good. You should totally do this for your business. And what happened is I did that and I added webinars to my pillars. And I realized in this round, I was like, a realtor does not need to know how to do a presentation. So I was like, I actually moved that out of it. So it's like you can have something in your pillars. What I mean is like whatever that person said, oh, I could learn from this. This would be great. We can either reintegrate it into a pillar. So like now I would think of webinars as a version of your marketing. Like it's like kind of like a
Webinar's like the top of the funnel because it's in my free group. So
right.
it's like
It could just be something that like you add. It doesn't have to necessarily be a pillar, but we'll decide that tonight. And I think
Okay.
that'll give you a lot of clarity.
Okay, cool.
Of course, that was such a great question.
Thank you.
How does that feel now?
I think that's, yeah, I think it's good. I know that, again, like I feel like the clarity is going to come in terms of when I flesh out the pillars, and then like the strategy. It's kind of like I'm a praying girl, if you couldn't tell. So like God will literally tell me you're talking about this and you're doing this. And I'm just like, okay, as long as I have clarity about the talking points, and then it's like he gives me what to kind of how to approach it, how to say it, the questions to ask and stuff. And it's like, okay, cool. That I trust that and I can go with that.
And that's what we're going to create tonight. We're going to get clarity on the pillars. So I'm super excited. I think that'll help a lot. And let me
Thank
know
you.
if that doesn't. And we're going to meet in like 2 hours. So I think that will be good. But I think that for everybody, just taking like, I know this is like the worst part. It's like, whew, there's a lot of information. Getting into like, I am CEO. It's like, I will implement this as I go, but nothing needs to happen right now. I think everyone's probably feeling that way. I'm really glad you brought that up. And what I want you to focus on first is just gaining that clarity for what you do. And then we can implement that as we go. So great point. Thank you for bringing that up. Post in the group if you have anything else. And Jess, I know you had your hand up and you put it down. Do you need to go in 2 minutes, or are you
No, I
feeling?
probably have about 5 minutes. That's fine.
Oh, 5 more minutes. Okay, great. We will get it done. I was like, we got this.
So I am totally opposite of Tammy and feel like I could ramble on in a written post for like days, but
Mhm.
I don't do well with video. So I'm trying to figure out the best strategy for going back and forth between reels and like images. I do have a good amount of photography and pictures and stuff like that I can use. I think I have a lot more clarity after we went through the pillars. I'm going through and I'm like readjusting some of my website copy because I do feel like it was confusing, and so it's coming together. But I really am struggling with the content piece because I feel like I have a lot of content. Like health and wellness gives you a ton of content to talk about, and I kind of need to narrow it down. And now I feel like I lost my train of thought that I had when I initially raised my hand, so forgive me.
Oh, please. I was like, no, this is great. So this is such a good thing for you to bring up, is like with the content, we want to take the pillar. So for you, it's like we've got stress. And I want you to think about, this is like a great thing for everybody. If you're thinking about what to write, I want you to think about what is a problem at 2 p.m. So we call it like a 2 p.m. problem. It's like, what would be, if I'm thinking about my person, what would be a problem they have at 2 p.m. related to stress this time of year in the holidays? So
Yeah.
it's like, what would be I like to think about like as like a trigger, not like a triggered warning, but like what would be something that would be triggering your ideal client at 2 p.m. today? And something that is another hack for everybody when you're writing copy, you could write, Jess, it's like instead it's like struggling to write, or it's struggling to figure out what to write. It's like, let me tell you the 2 p.m. problem. And literally like take a client of yours or a person that you know is struggling with stress and put their name and write a post.
Okay. That's
Just
helpful.
like for everybody, what is your problem? What is your client struggling with right now? Think about like the holidays, end of the year. What is a pillar that makes sense for your people right now? And if you're thinking about what are they struggling with, write to what they're struggling with right now.
Okay. And then the way that you're structuring your written content is the long form post is going with the static image, and then you're taking just like 3 sentences from that and posting it with the reel.
Yep.
Okay.
And
because I think I'm still doing like a long form text post with a reel right now,
Mhm.
and I don't think it's doing a whole lot.
Well, and you totally can. It's not that that is wrong. That's not that. It's like, it's just, this is going to take one topic and stress
Right.
it
Yeah.
more than having to think about 2 separate topics.
That would
The
be
other
amazing
thing,
because my brain hurts trying to come
takes
up with that
forever.
many things to post about.
Oh my God, I totally agree. And it's like, that's why I created this, especially when I realized that like, this is like, again, 900 hours, very few clients. So it's like, this is just like getting information, creating brand awareness. Like, this is my product. But the other thing is with this, if you are feeling like I struggle writing or like talking with myself, feel free to do trending reels. Just point to stuff, It's like it'll give you like
See,
that.
but that's the other thing too. Like I feel so silly and ridiculous. Like, and as much as I can find like my sense of humor in certain things and all of that, it is just so uncomfortable for me to do any of the like trendy type of stuff. And so, I mean, I'm having enough trouble like just putting trending audio onto shit. Like I'm like, it takes me so long. And so like, I'm trying to like, I need to stretch the content like you're talking about. So I think chopping it up like that is great. But I do connect to people through conversation. And so I know that the video part is important. My holdup and my challenge is that when I'm talking to nobody, like, you know what I mean? Like it isn't a back and forth conversation. I don't feel like the flow is there, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I'm a storyteller for sure, but I feel like it's either going to be like super short and weird, or it's going to be like I'm having a full on monologue for somebody. And I don't think either one of those are going to be winning for me.
That's not ideal, but I know what you mean. It is funky when you're first starting out. So it's like, I want you to think about like almost like recapping a conversation that you had to make it feel more conversational. Like when I was thinking about like, so this is another great idea for posting. So I would say like the 3 content copy tips are like the 2 p.m. problem, writing like to an actual person, a person, or a recap of a coaching call. So it's like for you, like this is something that Charlotte Smith, she's actually my breakout room instructor. She's a coach for farmers. I'll tag her. But she told me, she was like, literally, like you could also think about like an unintentional model.
Oh, yeah.
And then instead of giving the intentional model, you could be like, I coached them and they got better, work with me. It's like you don't need to give away the intentional model there. But like, I would say that these are really going to be helpful if we're thinking about like as your business is growing, like that's going to be the kind of things that I want you to be thinking about, like just like writing to that person. And you could even like recap and storytell. This would be like the storytelling of like, let me tell you what happened with a client. And then you can like tell that in that way. That might be faster. But Sharon mentioned, how long does can a reel be? And I thought it was 90 seconds, but it's like 60 seconds. It's very short.
It's pretty short.
So it's going to take a long time for you guys. That's why I was thinking maybe the video AI could be a great thing for you. Like, or just having just a picture. Like it could just be a picture for now. And then eventually you can do video AI to a reel. But like, again, what you're doing right now is working. This is just ideas to take it maybe up to the next level.
Yeah. Okay. And then I've just one other quick question. Will we cover how to do like an opt-in on our website at all? Like it's just something that's been giving me like a mild headache for a while to get it to show up and work well. So is that something we're going to go over at all?
No, but I can. So as like short answer, no, long answer, I can. So you will learn how to make a website, but I do know how much of a pain in the ass creating an opt-in is. And for everyone who doesn't know what that is, it's like if you chose to add something like a freebie to your website, if I look at it in an incognito window, you would see a pop-up.
Yeah, that's what I want, is the pop-up. And I'm like having such a hard time
getting
it to work.
It's very annoying. It is super annoying to figure that out. I can create a training like that for you guys, and I'll put that in the bonuses.
Oh, that would be amazing. Thank you.
But who do you have my
website is through Wix, and then I'm using StanStore to house digital products, which one of them will be a freebie opt-in, and then the rest are going to be like paid
So, okay.
offers.
Everyone
But
just
like versus going to a
block this
Linktree,
conversation out for a second. Like, because I was like, if you're not doing that, I was like, if this is gonna be, don't listen to this. I know this might have already been overwhelming. I'm just like, for anyone who doesn't know anything we're talking about, like, don't worry about it.
yeah,
But I understand what you're saying. So it's probably gonna be I actually don't know how to do that. So for anybody, everywhere, what we're talking about here is there are different platforms like to house a website, and then there are different platforms that you can use for an email list or a store, like things like this. So I actually don't know how to do this. I could show you guys how to do a Flowdesk integration with a Squarespace website, but this might
got
be
it.
a
Okay.
weird situation. And hopefully
Okay.
store, they have a help desk that you can reach out to.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
That's what I would do if I were you. That's how I've had to do it. I had a website with Wix in the past, and they did have an option for a pop-up through Wix, but it wasn't a pop-up through Wix to integrate with Standstore. There's probably something like that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I will definitely look that up.
Yeah, there's a
Okay.
lot of like integrated techie stuff. I try to do as much as I can. So I'm like, here's how to make a website, here's how to do QuickBooks, here's how to do a
Yeah.
community, all this stuff. But there's other like super niche stuff that I don't think I won't actually make a video for this, but like if you have a ton of trouble with it, let me know and I can try and like work it with
Okay.
you.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Of course.
Okay. Bye, guys. Have a good rest of your
Bye.
day.
Thanks. I was like, Anise. I was like, I saw that you said, if you have time, can we talk about networking and adding your pillars? And then Tammy, I saw there was another, yes, a real series to go. People will look back. Yes, for sure. So, Anise, you mentioned networking and using your
Yes.
pillars.
Yes, just very quickly though. I was just quickly looking while you were talking to Jess about trending reels and audio. Where is it on the Instagram app?
Great question. I just put it in the stream. So
Oh, that's
right
fine.
now,
I'll look later, don't worry.
oh, you're good. But I think it would be helpful for everyone to see. It changes all the time. So if you look, did you see that little arrow?
I did, but go back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there, yeah.
I clicked on that.
So that's on someone else's, isn't it?
No, I think everyone will have this question. So it'll say, if there's a little arrow, then it'll say trending. You click on this button, trending.
Uh-huh.
All of these are trending audio.
Oh,
And if you
okay.
click use audio, or didn't know my own strength, like I was like, that was weird. I like listened to it and I was like, this doesn't make sense. But I was like, oh, I could use this audio. And literally
Yeah.
did this yesterday. Like, it's pretty beautiful, right? I was like, it's very easy. But if you guys want to make trending audio, that's just like a very simple, quick thing for you. Now,
Yeah, just pull out have you got my pillars just to hand?
yes, I do. Like, that's why we did this.
Yeah, perfect. I had my last networking champagne breakfast this morning. It was ridiculous. But it was the first time I'd networked since our conversation last Wednesday with the new pillars, and it did kind of work. But my question is, we had a minute, so we had 60 seconds. I really don't feel like I'm really good, I think, at saying what the pain is. So, oh no, I've changed that, by the way, to prevent burnouts, just so you know.
Love it.
Yeah, rather than overcome. But so I'm really good at getting the feedback. Like, they get me, they're nodding, they come and talk to me later. They are those people, but I don't think I'm getting the result across quickly enough.
Okay, great question. So if we think about the whole, it's like the business leader's guide to intentionality. And it's like, again, we can always like play around with it. It's like we want,
I did it with a spin like we did today. We did last week. Like, just think about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and they got a little laugh, and that was nice. It was a little
Oh,
crack in. Yeah, it
Huh.
was like I think there's about 80 people there this morning, so I had to really crack the audience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then that's memorable. So
Yes.
it's making you stand out. So for you, when we're thinking about networking with people, what I like to do is I like to listen to whatever they say. If you can let them go first and be like, oh my God, that's amazing. It's like one of the things that I do is I help founders like yourself to prevent burnout, manage time, and create confidence. In my program I created, it's called the Business Leader's Guide to Intentionality. If you think about the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, very similar thing. And it just helps them to, and we think about like if they prevent burnout, manage time, and create confidence, they will make more money, impact. You can use the same thing I have in less time. Overall result. Or do you want to say like it's like they're gonna make instead of less time, yours is more about like find fulfillment. It's like find
I'm
full.
saying no, I like it. I've been saying streamlining your business, growing your bottom line, and having a life.
Okay, I was about to say enjoy their lives as they grow their businesses.
Yeah, exactly. But it is about making the bottom line as well. Okay, so it's
I
really
kind of
great.
like this for you because it's like yours is more about enjoy their life
Mm.
or like find fulfillment. But you could have this too. It's like literally play around with it, see what people are like, oh, that sounds pretty neat. But I want you to like have that as a part of the like that's where you just get to play around with it and with each person. So I went to, it was seriously like, you guys, in-person networking events are like so helpful because you do have to say it in like 2 seconds, like an elevator pitch, like here's what I do, here's how I help. So I said that I help you organize your business so you can make more of an impact. That was like my like little tagline. And I went to this thing called it was the Life Coach School Mastermind, and I said it to people, and they were like, I was like, oh, this isn't landing with anybody. And so it's like you're just gonna have to play around with it to see which that adds up for your people the best. I found that make more money and make more in less time was quick and easy, but practice it, see what feels like good for you. But you get everybody can think about that. And I think that Sharon, you put one of the things that you did is you put like the overarching pillar. So it was super cool. Sharon, I hope you don't mind if I share it. It was like I loved it. But you put like the whole, you were like, what is the whole problem that my product solves? How, who, and why? She did the whole thing here. And it was awesome. Like I was like, so you can think about like the core pillars for your whole program. And that would be good. You guys can't hear Rob, right?
So wait, what does Sharon do?
Yelling.
What does
Right.
so
So
she's
it's
just
like
written
she just took the problem, solution, process, result. And what we can do is I'm gonna just add another, it's be like whole program. What is their overall problem? It's like they aren't feeling, it's like they're struggling to build a business and have a life. It's like they want to have a life as they build their business. Your program, the
yeah,
Business Leader's Guide to Intentionality, it's just long, so I don't want to.
that's right.
It's like they will enjoy their businesses as, or it's like they will enjoy, it's like they will enjoy their lives and businesses. Something like that.
Okay, that's cool.
They will have, or they can say they will have a life as they grow their business, something like that. Or you can say they will make more money, or it's like they will make more
As they grow.
in less
They grow.
time in a more joyful way. something like that.
Yeah.
Like more of a life, something like that.
Perfect.
Feel free to take mine. I'm like, literally, if any of these things work for you, take it, beg, borrow, steal. I'm like, that is like our motto when I first started teaching. That was our whole thing. It was like beg, borrow, and steal. Anything that I have, feel free to use. You can literally take anything that I have and use for your business or anything else. But I think that would be helpful for everyone. So like the takeaway here is like make core pillars for whole program for networking.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So good. I'm so excited for you. I feel like this is like I feel like this is like a great way to end it, is like a way for you guys to communicate it. How are you feeling now? Like,
Yeah, no, that's good. It's good. Yeah, it's quite late here, but so I need to go to bed. But yeah, that's good. Thank you.
I know
Super.
you do. I'm like, thank you so, so much. I was like, I was like, I hope this was helpful for everybody. I know this was a lot. Sharon, I love your tiny Christmas tree, and I love your puppy, and I love the butterflies. I'm like, this is awesome. I love you guys dearly, and I will see you all next Tuesday. I'll make the group now and on Instagram, and I will add you all to it too. All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Good week.